Let fame that all hunt after in their lives live registered upon our brazen tombs, and grace us in the disgrace of death. Therefore, brave conquerors, for so you are, that war against your own affections and the huge army of the world's desires, our late edict shall strongly stand in force. Navarre shall be the wonder of the world. Our court shall be a little academy, still and contemplative in living art. You two, Berowne and gentle Longaville, have sworn for 3 years' term to live with me, my fellow scholars, and to keep these statutes that are recorded in this schedule here. Your oaths are passed, and now subscribe your names, that his own hand may strike his honor down that violates the smallest branch herein. If you are armed to do, as sworn to do, subscribe to your deep oaths, and keep it, too.
I am resolved 'tis but a 3 years' fast, that mine shall banquet though the potty pine. Fat punches heavily painted, dainty bits make rich the ribs, but bankrupts quite the wits.
I can but say their protestation over. So much, dear liege, I have already sworn, that is, to live here 3 years. But there are other strict observances, as to not see a woman in that term, which I hope well is not enrolled there, and 1 day in a week to touch no food, and but 1 meal on every day beside, the which I hope is not enrolled there, and to sleep but 3 hours in the night, which I hope well is not enrolled there. Oh, these are barren tasks, too hard to keep. Not to see ladies study fast, not sleep.
Your oaths are passed to pass away from these.
Then let me say no, my liege, and if you please, I only swore to study with your grace and stay here in your court for 3 years' space.
You swore to that, Berowne, and to the rest.
By yea and nay, mate, then I swore in jest. When is the end of study? Let me know.
Why, that to know, which else we should not know.
Come on, then, I will swear to study so, to know the thing I am forbid to know.
These be the stops that hinder study quite, and train our intellect to vain delight.
Why? All delights are vain, but that most vain, which with pain purchased doth inherit pain. As painfully to pore upon a book, to seek the light of truth, while truth the while doth falsely blind the eyesight of his look. Study is like the heaven's glorious sun, that cannot be deep searched with saucy looks. Small have continual plotters ever won, save base authority from others' books.
How well she's read, to reason against reading.
Proceeded well to stop all good proceeding.
The spring is near when green geese are breeding.
How follows that?
Fit in their place and time.
And reason nothing.
Something then in rhyme.
Well, sit you out. Go home, Berowne, and do.
No, my lord, I swore to stay with you. Give me the paper, let me read the same, and to the strictest decrees I'll write my name.
How well this yielding rescues thee from shame.
Item, that no woman shall come within a mile of my court. Had this been proclaimed?
4 days ago.
Let's see the penalty. On pain of losing her tongue, who devised this penalty?
Marry, that did I.
Sweet lord, and why?
To fright them hence with that dread penalty.
A dangerous law against gentility. Item, if any human be seen to talk with a woman within the term of 3 years, they shall endure such public shame as the rest of the court can possible devise. This article, my liege, yourself must break, for well you know here comes an embassy, the French king's daughter with yourself to speak, a maid of grace and complete majesty, about surrender up of Aquitaine to her decrepit, sick, and bedrid father. Therefore, this article is made in vain, or vainly comes the admired princess thither.
We must of force dispense with this decree. She must lie here on mere necessity.
Necessity will make us all forsworn 3,000 times within this 3 years space. If I break faith, let this word speak for me. I am forsworn on mere necessity. So to the laws at large, I write my name. And he that breaks them in the least degree stands in attainder of eternal shame. Suggestions are to others as to me. But I believe, although I seem so loath, I am the last that will last break her oath. But is there no quick recreation granted?
Aye, that there is. Our court, is haunted with a refined traveler of Spain, a man of compliments, whom right and wrong have chosen umpire of their mutiny. This child of fancy that Armado hight, for interim to our study shall relate, in high-born words the worth of many a night, from tawny Spain lost in the world's debate. How you delight, my lords, I know not I, but I protest, I love to hear him lie.
Armado is a most illustrious wight, a man of fire, new words, fashion's own knight.
Fostered the swain, and he shall be our sport. So to study here 3 years is but short.
Which is the Duke's own person?
This is he.
Sir, the contempts thereof are as touching me.
A letter from the magnificent Armado.
How low soever the matter, I hope in God for high words.
I hope for a low heaven, God grant us patience.
To hear or forbear hearing?
To hear meekly, madam, or to laugh moderately, or to forbear both.
Well, mate, be it as the style shall give us cause to climb in the merriness.
The matter is to me as concerning Jacquinetta. The manner of it is, I was taken with the manner.
In what manner?
And manner and form falling, madame, all those three. I was seen with her in the manor house, sitting with her upon the form, and taken following her into the park, which, put together, is in manner and form following. Now, madame, for the manner, it is the manner of a person to speak to a woman. For the form, in some form.
For the following, miss?
As it shall fall in my correction, and God defend the right.
Will you hear this letter with attention?
As we would hear an oracle.
Such is the simplicity of man to hearken after the flesh.
Great deputy, the welcome's vice-regent and sole dominator of Navarre, my soul's erst god and body's fostering patron.
Not a word of costard yet.
So it is.
If it is so, he is but telling true, but so.
Peace.
Be to me and every man that dares not fight.
No words.
Of other men's secrets, I beseech you.
So it is, besieged with sable-colored melancholy, I did commend the black oppressing humor to the most wholesome physic of thy health-giving air. And, as I am a gentleman, betook myself to walk. The time, when? About the 6th hour, when beasts most graze, birds best peck, and men sit down to that nourishment which is called supper. So much for the time when. Not for the ground. Which I mean I walked upon. It is called thy park. Then for the place. Where I mean I did encounter that obscene and most preposterous event that draweth from my snow white pen the ebon-colored ink which here thou viewest, beholdest, surveyest, or seest. But to the place. Where? It standeth north-northeast, and by east from the west corner of thy curious knotted garden. There did I see that low-spirited swain, that base minnow of thy mirth.
Me.
That unlettered small knowing soul.
Me.
That shallow vassal.
Still me.
Which, as I remember, hight Coster.
Oh, me.
Sorted and consorted, contrary to thy established proclaimed edict and continent canon, which but with this I passion to say, wherewith?
With a wench.
With Jacquinetta, so is the weaker vessel called, which I apprehended with the aforesaid swain. I keep Jacquinetta as a vessel of thy law's fury, and shall, at the least of thy sweet notice, bring her to trial. She I, as my ever-esteemed duty pricks me on, have sent to thee to receive the meed of punishment. Thine in all compliments of devoted and heart-burning heat of duty, Don Adriano de Armado.
This is not so well as I'd looked for, but the best I ever heard.
Aye, the best for the worst. But, sirrah, what say you to this?
Sir, I confess the wench.
Did you hear the proclamation?
I do confess much to the hearing of it, but little of the marking of it.
It was proclaimed a year's imprisonment to be taken with the wench.
I was taken with none, sir. I was taken with a damsel.
Well, it was proclaimed a damsel.
This was no damsel neither, sir. She was a virgin.
It is so very too, for it was proclaimed a virgin.
Well, if 'twere, I deny her virginity. I was taken with a maid.
This maid will not serve your turn, miss.
This maid will serve my turn, sir.
Miss, I will pronounce your sentence. You will fast a week with bran and water.
I'd rather pray a month with mutton and porridge.
And Don Armado shall be your keeper. My lord Berowne, seeing her delivered o'er, and going lords to put in practice that which each to other has so strongly sworn.
I'll lay my head to any good man's hat. These oaths and laws will prove an idle scorn. Sirrah, come on.
I suffer for the truth, for true it is. I was taken with Jacquinetta, and Jacquinetta is a true girl, and therefore will welcome the sour cup of prosperity. Affliction may one day smile again. Until then, sit thee down, sorrow.
Bidi bidi bum bum. Bidi bidi bum bum. Bidi 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 bum. Bidi 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 bum. Bidi bidi bum bum.
Ah! How canst thou part sadness and melancholy, my tender juvenile?
By a familiar demonstration of the working, my tough signor.
Why, tough signor? Why, tough signor?
Why tender juvenile? Why tender juvenile?
I spoke it tender juvenile as a congruent epithet appertaining to thy young days, which we may nominate tender, pretty, and apt.
How mean you, sir? I pretty and my saying apt, or I apt and my saying pretty?
Pretty because little.
Little because little, wherefore apt?
And therefore apt because quick. I do say thou art quick in answers, thou heatst my blood.
I am answered, sir.
I love not to be crossed.
Habla lo contrario, cruza el amor, Noel.
I will hereupon confess that I me love, as it is fate for a soldier to love, so too am I in love with a base wench. But I promised to study for 3 years with the Duke. Comfort me, child, what great men have been in love.
Hercules, master.
Most sweet Hercules, more authority there will name more, and sweet child, let them be men of good repute and carriage.
Samson, master. He was a man of good carriage, great carriage, for he carried the town gates like a porter. He was in love.
Oh, well neat Samson, strong-jointed Samson. I do excel thee in my rapier as much as thou didst me in carrying gates. I am in love too. Tell me, dear Moth, who was Samson's love?
Una mujer, amo.
I do love that country girl that I took in the park with that rational hind costard. She deserves well. Sing! My spirit grows heavy in love.
And that's great marvel, loving light wench.
I say, sing!
Forbear till this company be past.
The Duke's pleasure is that you keep Custard safe. And you must suffer her to take no delight nor no penance, but I must fast 3 days a week.
I betray myself with blushing, maid.
Men.
I will visit thee at the lodge.
That's hereby.
I know where it is situate.
Lord, how wise you are.
I will tell thee wonders.
With that face.
I love thee.
So I heard you say. I must away. Tengo que ordeñar la vaca.
Entonces, adiós.
Será que lo que uno fue porque fue para hacerse oír.
Villain, thou shalt fast for thy offences, and shall be pardoned.
Well, sir, I hope when I do, I shall do it on a full stomach.
Thou shalt be heavily punished.
I'm more bound to you than your fellows, for they are but lightly rewarded.
Take this villain away. Shut her up.
Come, you transgressing slave. Oh, wait.
Let me not be pent up, youth. I will fast being loose.
No, miss. Thou art fast and loose. Thou shalt to prison.
Well, if ever I do see the merry days of desolation that I have seen, some shall see.
Oh, what shall some see?
Nay, nothing, Master Moth, but what they look upon. It is not for prisoners to be too silent in their words, therefore I will say nothing. I thank God I have as little patience as a man, and for I can be quiet.
Bidi bidi bum bum. Bidi bidi bum bum. Bidi 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 bum bum. Bidi 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 bum bum.
And to affect the very ground which is base, with her shoe, which is baser, guided by her foot, which is basest doth tread. I shall be forsworn, which is a great argument of falsehood, if I love. And how can that be true love, which is falsely attempted? Love is a familiar. Love is a devil. There is no evil angel but love. It was Samson so tempted, and he had an excellent strength. It was Solomon so seduced, and he had a very good wit. Cupid's bolt shaft is too hard for Hercules' club, and therefore too much odds for a Spaniard's rapier. The first and second cause will not serve my turn. The pasado he respects not, the duello he regards not. His disgrace is to be called boy, but his glory is to subdue men. Adios, valor. Rust, rapier, be still drum, for your manager is in love. Yea, he love it. Assist me some extempore god of rhyme, for I am sure I shall turn sonnet. Devise wit, write pen, for I am for whole volumes in folio.
En chrysanthème, les hommes pleurent, les femmes pleurent. J'arrive, j'arrive.
Now, madam, summon up your dearest spirits. Consider who the king your father sends, to whom he sends, and what's his embassy. Yourself held precious in the world's esteem, to parley with the sole inheritor of all perfections that a man may owe, matchless Navarre, a plea of no less weight than Aquitaine, a dowry for a queen. Be now as prodigal of all dear grace, as nature was in making graces dear, as she did starve the general world beside, and prodigally gave them all to you.
Good Lord, Boyet, my beauty, so but mean, needs not the painted flourish of your praise. Beauty is bought by judgment of the eye, not uttered by base sale of chapmen's tongues. I am less proud to hear you tell my worth than you much willing to be counted wise in spending your wit in the praise of mine. But now to test the tasker. Good Boyet, you are not ignorant, all telling fame. Dost noise abroad Navarre hath made a vow. Till painful study shall outwear 3 years, no woman may approach his silent court. Therefore, to seems that a needful course before we enter his forbidden gates, to know his pleasure. And in that behalf, bold of your worthiness, we single you as our best moving fair solicitor. Tell him the daughter of the King of France, on serious business, craving quick dispatch, importunes personal conference with his grace. Haste signifies so much, while we attend, like humble-visaged suitors, his high will.
Proud of employment, willingly I go.
All pride is willing pride, and yours is so. Who are the votaries, my loving lords, who are vow fellows with this virtuous duke?
Lord Longaville is one.
Know you the man?
I know them, madam. At a marriage feast in Normandy saw I this Longaville, a man of sovereign parts, peerless esteemed, well fitted in arts, glorious in arms. Nothing becomes them ill that they would well. The only soil of their fair virtue's gloss, if virtue's gloss will sing with any soil, is a sharp wit, matched with too blunt a will, whose edge hath power to cut, whose will still wills it should none spare that come within their power.
Some merry mocking lord belike, is it so?
They say so, that most their humours know.
Oh, such short-lived wits do wither as they grow. Who is the rest?
Another of these students was with him at the time, if I have heard a truth. Berowne, they call her, but a merrier man within the limit of becoming mirth. I never spent an hour's talk withal. Her eye begets occasion for her wit. For every object that the one doth catch, the other turns to a mirth-moving jest, which her fair tongue, conceits expositor, delivers in such apt and gracious words that aged ears play truant at her tales, and younger hearings are quite ravished. So sweet and voluble is her discourse.
God bless my ladies. Are they all in love that everyone her own hath garnished with such bedecking ornaments of praise?
Here comes Boyet.
Now, what admittance, lord?
Navarre had noticed your fair approach, and he and his competitors in oath were all addressed to meet you, gentle lady, before I came. Marry, thus much I have learnt. He rather means to lodge you in a field like one that comes here to besiege his court than to seek a dispensation for his oath to let you enter his unpeopled house. Here comes Navarre.
Fair princess, welcome to the court of Navarre.
Fair I give you back again, and welcome I have not yet. The roof of this court is too high to be yours, and welcome to the wide fields too base to be mine.
You shall be welcome, madam, to my court.
I will be welcome then. Conduct me thither.
Hear me, dear lady. I have sworn an oath.
Our lady help my lord, he'll be forsworn.
Not for the world, fair madam, by my...
Why, will shall break it. Will and nothing else.
Your ladyship is ignorant what it is.
Were my lord so, his ignorance were wise. Well, now his knowledge must prove ignorance. I hear your grace has sworn out housekeeping. 'Tis deadly sin to keep that oath, my lord, and sin to break it. But, pardon me, I am too sudden bold. To teach a teacher ill beseemeth me. Vouchsafe to read the purpose of my coming, and suddenly resolve me in my suit.
Madam, I will, if suddenly I may.
You will the sooner that I will away, for you prove perjured if you make me stay.
Did not I dance with you in Brabant once?
Did not I dance with you in Brabant once?
I know you did.
How needless was it then to ask the question?
You must not be so quick.
'Tis long of you that spur me with such questions.
Your wit's too hot, it speeds too fast, 'twill tire.
Not till it leave the rider in the mire.
What time of day?
The hour that fools should ask.
Now fair befall your mask.
Fair fall the face it covers.
And send you many lovers.
Amen, so you be none.
Nay, then I will be gone.
Madam, your father here doth intimate the payment of 100,000 crowns, being but the 1/2 of an entire sum disbursed by my father in his wars. but say that he or we, as neither have received that sum, yet there remains unpaid 100,000 more, in surety of the which one part of Aquitaine is bound to us, although not valued to the money's worth. If the king your father will restore but that one half which remains unsatisfied, we will give up our rights in Aquitaine and hold fair friendship with his majesty. But this it seemed he little purposeth, for here he doth demand to have repaid 100,000 crowns, and not demands on payment of 100,000 crowns to have his title live in Aquitaine, which we much rather had withal and have the money by our father lent, than Aquitaine so gelded as it is. Dear princess, were not his request so far from reason's yielding? Your fair self should make some yielding against some reason in my breast, and go well satisfied to France again.
You do the king, my father, too much wrong, and wrong the reputation of your name, in so unseeming to confess receipt of that which has so faithfully been paid.
I do protest I never heard of it, and if you prove it, I'll repay it back or yield up Aquitaine.
We arrest your word. Boyet, you can produce acquittances for such a sum from special officers of Charles, his father.
Satisfy me so.
Please, your grace, the packet does not come, where that and other specialties are bound. Tomorrow you shall have sight of them.
It shall suffice me, at which interview all liberal reason will I yield unto. Meantime, receive such welcome at my hand as honor, without breach of honor, may make tender of to thy true worthiness. You may not come, fair princess, within my gates, but here without you shall you deem so received, as you shall deem yourself lodged in my heart, though so denied fair arbor in my house. Your own good thoughts excuse me and farewell. Tomorrow shall we visit you again.
Sweet health and fair desires consort your grace.
Thy own wish I thee in every place.
Lady, I will commend you to mine own heart.
Pray you, do my accommodations. I would be glad to see it.
I would you heard it groan.
Is the fool sick?
Sick at the heart.
Alack, let it blood.
Would that do it good?
My physics say I.
Will you prick it with your eye?
No point, with my knife.
Now God save thy life.
And yours from long living.
I cannot stay. Thanksgiving.
I beseech you a word. What is she in the white?
A woman sometimes, and you saw her in the light.
Perchance light in the light. I desire her name.
She hath but one for herself. To desire that were a shame.
Pray you, sir, whose daughter?
Her mother's, I have heard.
God's blessing on your beard.
Good sir, be not offended. She is an heir of Falconbridge.
Nay, my call her is ended. She's a most sweet lady.
Not unlike, sir, that may be.
What's her name in the cap?
Rosaline, by good hap.
Is she wedded or no?
To her will, miss, or so.
Oh, you are welcome, sir. Adieu.
Farewell to me, miss, and welcome to you.
That last is Berowne, the merry madcap lord. Not a word with her, but a jest.
And every jest but a word.
It was well done of you to take her at her word.
I was as willing to grapple as she was to board.
Good wits will be jangling, but gentles agree. The civil war of wits were much better used on Navarre and his bookmen, for here 'tis abused.
If my observation, which very seldom lies, by the heart still rhetoric disclosed with eyes, deceive me not now, Navarre is infected.
With what?
With that which we lovers entitle affected.
Your reason?
Why, all his behaviors did make their retire, to the court of his eye peeping thorough desire. His heart like an agate with your print impressed, proud in his form with his eye pride expressed. His tongue all impatient to speak and not see, did stumble with haste in his eyesight to be. His face's own margin did quote such amazes, that all eyes saw his eyes enchanted with gazes. I'll give you Aquitaine and all that is his, and you give him for my sake but one loving kiss.
Come to our pavilion. Boyet is disposed.
But to speak that in which his eye hath disclosed, I have only made a mouth of his eye, by adding a tongue which I know will not lie. Do you hear my mad wenches?
No.
What then do you see?
I, our way to be gone.
You are too hard for me.
Horrible child, make passionate my sense of hearing.
Amor prohibido murmuran por las calles, porque somos de distintas sociedades. Amor prohibido nos dice todo el mundo. Wow, wow, baby.
There. Go, tenderness of years, give enlargement to the swain. She must bring her festively hither. She must carry me a letter to my love.
Master, will you win your love with a French brawl?
How meanest thou? Brawling in French?
No, my complete master, but to jiggle the tune at the tongue's end. Every feet with your feet. Humor it by turning up your eyelid. Tiny note, sing note, sometimes for the throat, as if you swallowed love by singing love. Sometimes through the nose, as if you snuffed up love by smelling love. With your hat, penthouse like o'er the shop of your eyes. With your hands in your pockets like the man with your own painting. And keep not too long in one tune, but a snip and away. These are humors. These are compliments. These betray nice wenches that will be betrayed without these, and make them men of note. Do you note? Men that most are affected to these.
How hast thou purchased this experience?
By my penny of observation.
But
The hobby horse is forgot en el olvido.
Wast thou my love, hobby horse?
And your love perhaps a hackney. But have you forgot your love?
Almost I had.
Negligent student, learn her by heart.
By heart and in heart, child.
And out of heart, master, all those three I will prove.
What wilt thou prove?
Un hombre, if I live in this, by air and without. Upon the instant, by heart you love her, because your heart cannot come by her. In heart, you love her because your heart is in love with her. And out of heart, you love her, being out of heart that you cannot enjoy her.
I am all these three.
And 3 times that's much more, and yet nothing at all.
Fetch hither the swain. She must carry me a letter to my love.
A message well sympathized. A horse to be ambassador for an ass.
What sayest thou?
Marry, sir, you must send the ass upon the horse, for she's very slow-gaited, but I go.
The way is but short. Away!
As swift as lead, sir.
I say, the lead is slow.
You are too swift, sir, to say so. Is that let slow, which is fired from a gun?
Sweet smoke of rhetoric. She reputes me a cannon, and the bullet that I shoot thee at the swain.
Thump then, and I flee.
A most acute juvenile, volatile and free of grace. By thy favour, sweet welkin, I must sigh in thy face. Most rude melancholy valour gives thee place. My herald is returned.
I won that, master. Here is a custard. Broken in a shin.
Tell me, how is the custard broken in a shin?
I will tell you sensibly.
Thou hast no feeling of a master moth. I will speak that. I, custard, running out that was safely within, fell over the threshold and broke my shin.
We will talk no more of this matter.
Till there be more matter in the shin.
Sirrah Custard, I will enfranchise thee.
Oh, marry me to one Francis? I smell some goose in this.
By my sweet soul, I mean, setting thee at liberty and freedoming thy person, thou wert immured, restrained, captivated, bound.
True, and now you leave my purgation and let me loose?
I give thee thy liberty, set thee from durance, and in lieu thereof, impose on thee nothing but this. Bear this significant to the country maid, Yakanera. There is remuneration. For the best reward of mine honor is rewarding my dependents. Moth, follow.
Like the sequel, I, Señorita Custard, adios.
Now will I look to his remuneration. Remuneration. Oh, that's a Latin word for 3 halfpenny farthings. 3 halfpenny farthings, remuneration. What surprise this inkle? I'll give you a penny. No, I'll give you a remuneration. Why, it carries. Why, it's a sweeter name than the French crown. Oh, I'll never buy and sell off this word.
Oh, my goodness, custard exceedingly well met.
Pray you, miss, how much carnation ribbon may a man buy for a remuneration?
Oh, what is remuneration?
Marry, miss, 3 halfpenny farthings.
Why then, 3 farthings worth of silk.
I thank your worship, miss. God be with you.
Stay, miss, I must employ thee. As thou wilt win my favor, good my knave, do one thing for me that I shall entreat.
When would you have it done, miss?
Oh, this afternoon.
Well, I will do it, miss. God be with you.
Oh, thou knowest not what it is.
I shall know it, miss, when I have done it.
Why, villain, thou must know first.
I will come to your worship tomorrow morning.
It must be done this afternoon. Hark, miss, it is but this. The princess comes to hunt here in the park, and in her train there is a gentle lady. When tongues speak sweetly, then they name her name. And Rosaline, they call her. Ask for her, and to her soft hand thou do commend this sealed up counsel. There's thy garden. Go.
Garden! Oh, sweet garden! Better than remuneration. 11 halfpence farthing better. Garden, oh, sweet garden. I will do it, miss. In print, garden remuneration.
Oh, and I forsooth in love. I that have been love's whip, a critic, nay, a night watch constable, a domineering pedant o'er the boy, this wimpled, whining, purblind, wayward boy, this senior, junior, giant dwarf Dan Cupid, regent of love rhymes, lord of folded arms, the anointed sovereign of sighs and groans, least of all loiters and malcontents, dread prince of plackets, king of codpieces, sole imperator and great general of trotting paradors. Oh, my little heart! And I to be a corporal of his field and wear his colors like a tumbler soup. What? I seek a wife, a woman that is like a German clock, still a repairing, ever out of frame, never going aright, being a watch, but being watched that it still may go right. Nay, to be perjured, which is worst of all. And among three, to love, worst of all. Whitely wanting with a velvet brow, with two pitchpoles stuck in her face for eyes. Aye, and by heaven, one that will do the deed, though Argus were her eunuch and her guard. And I to sigh for her, to watch for her, to pray for her, go to. It is a plague that Cupid will impose for my neglect of his almighty, dreadful little might. Well, I will love, write, sigh, pray, sue, groan. Some men must love my lady and some Joan.
Then that time I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, fine, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Here I am, baby. Oh, you got the future in your hand. Here I am, baby. You got the future in your hand. Hey, I've done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean.
This letter was given me by Custard and sent me from Don Armado. I beseech you, let me read it. If love make me forsworn, how shall I swear to love? Never faith could hold, if not to beauty vowed. Though to myself forsworn, to thee I'll faithful prove. Those thoughts to me were oaks, to thee like osiers vowed. ¿Qué? ¿Y qué es lo que él está diciendo? Yo no estoy entendiendo, pero bueno. Study his bias leaves and makes his book thine eyes, where all those pleasures live that art would comprehend. If knowledge be the mark, to know thee shall suffice. Well learned is that tongue that well can thee commend. All ignorant that soul that sees thee without wonder, which is to me some praise that I thy parts admire. Thy eye Jove's lightning bears, thy voice his dreadful thunder, which not to anger bent, his music and sweet fire. ¡Qué lindo! O sea, a mí me está gustando, yo lo que no sé si esto es para mí. Celestial as thou art, oh pardon, love is wrong, that sings heaven's praise with such an early tongue. But what of this? I will overglance the superscript. To the snow-white hand of the most beauteous lady, Rosaline? Your ladyship in all desired employment, Berowne? This Berowne is one of the votaries with the king, and here she hath framed a letter to a sequence of the stranger queens, which accidentally or by the way of progression hath miscarried. I must deliver this paper into the royal hand of the king. It may concern much.
Was it the king that spurred this horse so hard against the steep uprising of the hill?
I know not, but I think it was not he.
Whoever was, I showed the mounting mind. Well, friends, today we will have our dispatch, and Saturday we will return to France.
Hereby, at the edge of yonder coppice, a stand where you may make the fairest shoot.
I thank my beauty. I am fair that shoot, and thereupon thou speaks the fairest shoot.
Pardon me, madam, for I meant not so.
What? What? First praise me and again say no? Oh, short-lived pride, not fair, alack for woe.
Yes, madam, fair.
Nay, never paint me now. Where fair is not, praise cannot mend the brow. Here, good my glass, take this for telling true. Fair payment for foul words is more than due.
Nothing but fairs that which you inherit.
See, my beauty will be saved by merit. Oh, heresy and fair, fit for these days. A giving hand, so foul, shall have fair praise. And, out of question, though it is sometimes, glory grows guilty of detested crimes, when, for fame's sake, for praise, an outward part, we bend to that the working of the heart.
Do not cursed wives hold that self-sovereignty just for praise sake, when they strive to be lords o'er their lords?
Only for praise sake, and praise we may afford to any lady that subdues a lord.
Here comes a member of the Commonwealth.
God dig you, Daniel. Pray you, which is the head lady?
Why, you shall know her, madam, by the rest that have no heads.
Which is the greatest lady, then? The highest.
What's your will, miss? What's your will?
I have a letter from one Mademoiselle Berowne to one Lady Rosaline.
Oh, thy letter. She's a good friend of mine. Stand aside, good bearer. Boyet, you can carve. Break up this capon.
I am bound to serve. This letter is mistook. It importeth none here. It is writ to Jack and Etta.
We will read it, I swear. Break the neck of the wax, and everyone give ear.
By heaven, that thou art fair is most infallible, true. That thou art beauteous, truth itself. That thou art lovely. Or fairer than fair, beautiful than beauteous, truer than truth itself, have commiseration on thy heroical vassal. The magnanimous and most illustrate King Cophetua set eye upon the penurcious and indubitate beggars in Elephon, and he it was that might rightly say, Vini vidi vici, which to anathemize in the vulgar, obese and obscure vulgar, videlicet. He came, saw, and overcame. He came, 1, saw, 2, overcame, 3. Who came? The king. Why did he come? To see. Why did he see? To overcome. To whom came he? To the beggar. What saw he? The beggar. Who overcame he? The beggar. The conclusion is victory. On whose side? The king's. The captive is enriched. On whose side? The beggar's. The catastrophe is nuptial. On whose side? The king's. No, on both in one or one in both. I am the king, for so stands the comparison. Thou the beggar, for so witnesseth thy lowliness. Shall I command thy love? I may. Shall I enforce thy love? I could. Shall I entreat thy love? I will. What shalt thou exchange for rags? Robes. For titles? Titles. For thyself? Me. Thus expecting thy reply, I profane my lips on thy foot, my eyes on thy picture, and my heart on thy every part. Thine the dearest design of industry, Don Adriano de Armado.
What plume of feathers is he that indited this letter? What vein, what weathercock, did you hear ever better?
I am much deceived, but I remember the style.
Else your memory is bad, going over it there a while.
This Armado is a Spaniard that keeps here in court, a phantasm, a monarcho, and one that makes sport with the prince and his bookmates.
Thy lady, a word. Who gave thee this letter?
I told you, my lord.
To whom shouldst thou give it?
From my lord to my lady.
From which lord to which lady?
From my lord Berowne, a good master of mine, to a lady of France they call Rosaline.
Thou hast mistaken her letter. Come, friends, away. Here, sweet, put up this. 'Twill be yours another day.
soul a swain, a most simple clown, Lord, how the ladies and I have put him down. Oh, my troth, most sweet jest, most inky vulgar wit, how it comes so smoothly off, so obscenely as it were, so fit. Armado on the one side, oh, a most dainty man, to see him walk before a lady and to bear her fan, to see him kiss his hand, oh, how sweetly he will swear, and his page on the other side. That handful of wit, heavens, it is the most pathetical net.
The king. He is hunting the deer. I am coursing myself. They have pitched a toil. I am toiling in a pitch that defiles. Defile! A foul word. Well, set thee down, sorrow. For so they say the fool said, and so say I, and I the fool. Well proved wit. I will not love. If I do, hang me. In faith I will not. Oh, but her eye. By this light, but for her eye, I would not love her. Yes, for her 2 eyes. Well, I do nothing in the world but lie in my throat. By heaven, I do love, and it hath taught me to rhyme and to be melancholy. And here is part of my rhyme, and here my melancholy. Well, she hath one of my sonnets already. The clown bore it, the fool sent it, and the lady hath it. Sweet clown, sweeter fool, sweetest lady! By the world, I would not care a pin if the other 2 were in.
Here comes one with a paper. God give him grace to groan.
Oh, baby, seen a lot of things in this old world. When I touch them, there is nothing, girl. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. I'm yours.
Ay me.
Sought by heaven, proceed, sweet Cupid. Thou hast thumped him with thy bird bolt under the left pap. In faith, sacreds.
So sweet a kiss the golden sun gives note to those fresh morning drops upon the rose, as thy eye beams when their fresh rays have smote the night of dew that on my cheeks down flows. Nor shines the silver moon one half so bright through the transparent bosom of the deep, as doth thy face through tears of mine give light. Thou shinest in every tear that I do weep, no drop but as a roach. No drop but as a coach doth carry thee. So ridest thou, triumphing in my woe. Do but behold the tears that swell in me, and they thy glory through my grief will show. But do not love thyself, then thou wilt keep my tears for glasses, and still make me weep. O queen of queens, how far dost thou excel? No thought can think, nor tongue of mortal tell. How shall she know my griefs? I'll drop the paper. Sweet to leave shade folly. Who is he who comes here? What? Longaville and reading? Listen, ear.
Now in thy likeness one more fool appear.
Ay me, I am forsworn.
Why, they come in like a perjurer wearing papers.
In love, I hope, sweet fellowship in shame.
One drunkard loves another of the name.
Am I the first that have been perjured so?
I could put thee in comfort, not by 2 that I know.
I fear these stubborn lines lack power to move. Oh, sweet Maria, empress of my love, these numbers will I tear right in prose.
Oh, rhymes are guards on wanton Cupid's hose. Disfigure not their shop.
The same shall go. Did not the heavenly rhetoric of thine eye, against whom the world cannot hold punishment, persuade my heart to this false perjury? Vows for thee broke deserve not punishment. A woman I forswore, but I will prove how being a goddess I forswore not thee. My vow was earthly, thou a heavenly love. That grace being gained cures all disgrace in me. Vows are but breath, and breath of vapor is. Then thou, fair sun, which on my earth doth shine, Exhaust this vapor, vow, indeed it is. If broken, then it is no fault of mine. If by me broke, what fool is not so wise to lose an oath to win a paradise?
This is the liver vein that makes flesh a deity, a green goose, a goddess, pure idolatry. God amend us, God amend, we are much out the way.
Oh, that I had my wish.
And mine too, good Lord.
Amen, so I had mine. Is that not a good word?
I would forget her, but a fever she reigns in my blood and will remember me.
A fever in your blood! Why then, incision will let her out in saucers, sweet Miss Prison.
Once more I'll read the ode that I have read.
Once more I'll mark how love can bury wit.
This will I send, and something else more plain, that shall express my true love's fasting pain. Oh, would the king and learned Berowne were lovers too! Ill to example, ill would from my forehead wipe a perjured note, for none offend where all alike do dote.
You do not love Maria. Longaville did never sonnet for her sake compile, nor never lay their wreathed hands athwart their loving bosom to keep down their heart. I have been closely shrouded in this bush, and marked you read, and from your reading blush. I heard your guilty rhymes, observed your passion, saw sighs read from you, noted well your fashion. You would for paradise break faith and troth?
Now I step forth to whip hypocrisy. Ah, good my liege. Oh, pray thee, pardon me. Good heart, what grace hast thou thus to reprove this worm for loving thou art most in love? Your eyes do make no roaches, coaches. In your tears there is no certain princess that appears. You'll not be perjured, 'tis a hateful thing. Tush, none but minstrels like of sonneting. But are you not ashamed? Nay, are you not, the both of you, to be thus much o'ershot? You found their mote, the king your mote did see, but I a beam do find in each of thee. Oh, what a scene of foolery I have seen, of sighs, of groans, of sorrow, and of teen. Oh, gentle Longaville, where lies thy pain? And where, my lieges, all about the breast, a caudal hoe?
Too bitter is thy jest. Are we betrayed thus to thy overview?
Not you to me, but I betrayed to you. I that am honest. I that hold it sin to break the vow I am engaged in. I am betrayed by keeping company with those like you, those of inconstancy. For when shall you see that I will write a thing in rhyme, or groan for drone, or spend a minute's time in pruning me? When shall you hear that I will praise a hand, a foot, a gait, a state, a brow, a breast, a waist, a leg, a limb?
Soft! Whither away so fast? A true man or a thief that gallops so?
I post from love, good lover, let me go.
God bless the king.
What present hast thou here?
Some certain treason.
What makes treason here?
Nay, it makes nothing, sir.
If it mar nothing, neither, then treason and you go in peace away together.
I beseech your grace, let this letter be read. Our person misdoubts it, 'twas treason, he said.
Berowne, read it over. Where hast thou it?
Of Custard.
Where has she it?
Of Don Armado.
How now, it is in you? Why dost thou tear it?
A toy, my liege, a toy. Your grace needs not fear it.
Move her to passion, therefore let's hear it. It is Berowne's writing, and look, there's her name.
Guilty, my lord, guilty. I confess.
What?
That you two fools liked me fool to make up the mess. They, and you, my liege, and I, are pick purses in love and deserve to die. Oh, dismiss this audience, and I shall tell you more.
Adios.
Sweet lords, sweet lovers, oh, let us embrace. As true we are as flesh and blood can be, the sea will ebb and flow, heaven show his face. Young blood doth not obey an old decree. We cannot cross the cause why we were born, therefore all hands must be forsworn.
What, did these rent lines show some love of thine?
Did they, quoth you? Who sees the heavenly Rosaline, and bows not his vassal head, and, struck and blind, kisses the base ground with obedient breast? What peremptory, eagle-sided eyes dares look upon the heaven of her brow, and is not struck blind by her majesty?
What zeal, what fury hath inspired thee? My love, her gracious is a gracious moon. She, an attending star, scarce seen a light.
My eyes are then no eyes, nor I Berowne. Oh, but for my love, day would turn to night. Of all complexions, the cold sovereignty do meet as at a fair in her fair cheek, where several worthies make one dignity, where nothing wants that want itself doth seek. Lend me the flourish of all gentle tongues. Fine painted rhetoric, she needs it not. To things of sale, a seller's praise belongs. She passes praise, then praise too short doth blot. Oh, 'tis the sun that maketh all things shine.
Look, here's thy love. My foot and her face meet.
Oh, if the streets were painted with thine eyes, her feet were much too dainty for such tread.
Vile. Then goes she as what upward lies. The ground should see as she walked overhead.
But what of this? Are we not all in love?
Oh, nothing so sure, and thereby all forsworn.
Then leave this chat, and good Berowne, prove our loving lawful and our faith not torn.
Oh, some authority. How to proceed, some trick, some quillets, how to cheat the devil.
Have at you then, affections men-at-arms. Consider what you first did swear unto. To study, to fast, and to see no lady. Flat treason against the kingly state of youth. Say, can you fast? Your stomachs are too young, and abstinence engenders maladies. Oh, we made a vow to study, lords, and in that vow we have forsworn our books. For when would you, my liege, or I, or you, and let in contemplation have found out such fiery numbers as the prompting eyes of beauty's tutors have enriched you with? Other slow arts entirely keep the brain, and therefore, finding barren practisers, scarce show a harvest of their heavy toil. But love, first learned in a lady's eyes, lives not alone immured in the brain, but with the motion of all elements, courses as swift as thought in every power, and gives to every power a double power, above their functions and their offices. Love's tongue proves dainty Bacchus, gross in taste. From women's eyes this doctrine I derive. They sparkle still a right Promethean fire. They are the arts, the books, the academies that show, contain, and nourish all the world, else none at all in aught proves excellent. Then fools you were these women to forswear, or in keeping what is sworn you will prove fools. For wisdom's sake, a word that all men love, or for love's sake, a word that loves all men, let us once lose our oaths to find ourselves, or else we lose ourselves to keep our oaths. It is religion to be thus forsworn, for charity itself fulfills the law, and who can sever love from charity?
Saint Cupid, then, and soldiers to the field.
Advance your standards, and upon them, lords, pell-mell down with them, but be first advised in conflict that you get the son of them.
Let's cut plain dealing like these closes by. Shall we resolve to woo these girls of France?
And win them, too. Therefore, let us devise some entertainment for them in their tents.
First from the park let us conduct them thither, and homeward everyone attach the hand of their fair mistress. In the afternoon we will with some strange pastime solace them, such as the shortness of time can shape, for revels, dances, masks, and merry hours, for run fair love, strewing her way with flowers.
Away, away, no time shall be omitted. That will be time and may by us be fitted.
Come!
Sweetheart, we shall be rich ere we depart if fairings comes us plentifully in. A lady walled about with diamonds. Look you what I have from the loving king.
Madam, came nothing else along with that?
Nothing but this. Why, yes, as much love and rhyme as would be crammed up in a sheet of paper, written both sides the leaf, margin and all, that he was fain to seal on Cupid's name.
That was the way to make his godhead wax, for he hath been 5,000 year a boy.
Aye, and a shrewd, unhappy gallows, too.
You'll ne'er be friends with him, a killed your sister.
He made her melancholy, sad, and heavy, and so she died. Had she been like you, of such a merry, nimble, stirring spirit, she might have been a grandam ere she died. And so may you, for a light heart lives long.
What's your dark meaning, mouse, of this light word?
A light condition and a beauty dark.
We need more light to find your meaning out.
You'll mar the light by taking it in snuff, therefore I'll darkly end the argument.
Great reason, for past care is still past cure.
Well bandied both, a set of wits well played. But, Rosaline, you have a favor too. Who sent it, and what is it?
I would you knew, and if my face were but as fair as yours, my favor were as great. Be witness this. Nay, I have verses too. I thank Berowne. The number's true, and were the numbering too, I were the fairest goddess on the ground. She has compared me to 20,000 fairs. Oh, she hath drawn my picture in her letter.
Anything like?
Much in the letter, nothing in the praise.
Beauteous as ink. A good conclusion.
Oh, that your face were not so full of O's.
A pox of that jest, and I beshrew all shrews. But, Maria, what was sent to you from your suitor?
This, and these pearls to me sent Longaville. The letter is too long, by half a mile.
I think no less. Dost thou not wish in heart that the chain were longer and the letter short?
Aye, or I would these hands might never part.
We are wise girls to mock our lovers so.
They are worse the fools to purchase mocking so. That same Berowne I'll torture ere I go. Oh, that I knew she were but in by the week. How I would make her fawn and beg and seek and wait the season and observe the times and spend her prodigal wits in bootless rhymes and shape her service wholly to my device and to make her proud, to make me proud that jest. So Peretant-like would I o'ersway her state that she should be my fool and I her fate.
None are so surely caught when they are catched as wit turned fool. Folly and wisdom hatched hath wisdom's warrant and the help of school, and wit's own grace to grace a learned fool.
The blood of youth burns not with such excess as gravity's revolt to wantonness.
Folly in fools bears not so strong a note as foolery in the wise when wit doth dote, since all the power thereof it doth apply to prove by wit worth in simplicity.
Here comes Boyet, and mirth is in his face.
I am stabbed with laughter. Where's her grace?
Thy news, Boyet?
Prepare, madam, prepare. Arm, wenches, arm. Encounters mounted are against your peace. Love doth approach disguised. Armed in arguments, you'll be surprised. Muster your wits, stand in your own defense, or hide your heads like cowards and fly hence.
Saint-Denis de Saint-Cupid! What else is the child their breath against us? Say, Scout, say!
Under the cool shade of a sycamore, I thought to close mine eyes some half an hour, when lo, to interrupt my purposed rest, toward that shade I might behold addressed the king and his companions. Warily I stole into a neighbor thicket by, and overheard what you shall overhear. That by and by disguised they will appear. Their herald is a pretty knavish page, that well by heart hath conned her embassage.
But what? Come they to visit us?
They do, and are apparelled thus, like Muscovites or Russians, as I guess. Their purpose is to parley, to court and dance, and everyone his love feat will advance. Unto his several mistress which they'll know, by favours several which they did bestow.
And will they so? The gallant shall be tasked, for ladies, we will every one be masked, and not a man of them shall have the grace, despite of suit, to see a lady's face. Hold, Rosaline, this favour thou shalt wear, and then the king will court thee for his dear. Hold, take thou this, and give her thine. So shall Berowne take her for Rosaline, and give me your favours too. So shall your loves woo contrary deceived by these removes.
Come on, then. We're the favours most in sight.
But in this changing, what is your intent?
The effect of my intent is to cross theirs. They do it but in mockery merriment, and mock for mock is only my intent. The several counsels they unbosom shall, to loves mistook, and so be mocked withal until the next occasion that we meet, with visages displayed to talk and greet.
But shall we dance if they desire us to it?
No. To the death we will not move a foot, nor to their penned speech render we no grace. But, while 'tis spoke, each turn away her face.
Why, that contempt will kill the speaker's heart, and quite divorce their memory from their part.
Therefore I do it, and I make no doubt that the rest will ne'er come in if he be out. There's no such sport as sport by sport outthrown, to make theirs ours, and ours none but our own. So, shall we stay, mocking intended game, and they, well mocked, depart away with shame.
The trombone sounds. Be masked. The maskers come.
All hail the richest beauties of the earth.
Beauty's no richer than rich taffeta.
Holy parcel of the fairest dames that ever turned their backs to mortal views.
Their eyes, villain, their eyes.
That ever turned their eyes to mortal views. Out!
True, out indeed.
Out of your favors, heavenly spirits, vouchsafe not to behold.
Once to behold, rogue.
Once to behold, rogue, with your sun-beamed eyes, with your sun-beamed eyes.
They will not answer to that epithet. You were best call it daughter-beamed eyes.
They do not mark me, and that brings me out.
Is this your perfectness? Begone, you rogue.
What would these strangers? Know their minds, Boyet. If they do speak our language, 'tis our will that some plain man recounts their purposes. Know what they would.
What would you with the princess?
Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
What would they, say they?
Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
Why, that they have, and bid them so be gone.
She says you have it, and you may be gone.
Tell her we have measured many miles to tread the measure with her on this grass.
They say they have measured many miles to try to measure with you on this grass.
It is not so. Ask them how many inches is in 1 mile. If they have measured many, measure. The measure of one is easily told.
If to come hither you have measured many miles, and many miles the princess bids you tell how many inches doth fill up 1 mile.
Tell her we measure them by weary steps.
She hears herself.
How many weary steps of many weary miles have you Orgon are numbered in the travel of 1 mile?
We number nothing that we spend for you. Our duty is so rich, so infinite, that we do it still without account. Vouchsafe to show the sunshine of your face, so that we like savages may worship it.
My face is but a moon, and clouded too.
Lest our clouds do as such clouds do. Vouchsafe, bright moon, in these thy stars to shine. Those clouds removed upon our watering eye.
O vain petitioner, beg a greater matter. Thou now request but moonshine in the water.
Then in our measure do but vouchsafe one change. Thou biddest me beg, this begging is not strange.
Play music, then. Nay, you must do it soon. Not yet, no dance. Thus change I like the moon.
Will you not dance? How comes thus estranged?
You took the moon at full, but now she's changed.
Yet still she is the moon and I the man. The music plays, vouchsafe some motion to it.
Our ears vouchsafe it.
But your legs should do it.
Since you are but strangers and come here by chance, curtsy, sweet arts, we will not dance, and so the measure ends.
One measure of this measure, be not nice.
We can afford no more at such a price.
Price yourselves. What buys your company?
Your absence only.
That can never be.
Then cannot we be bought, and so adieu, twice to your visa, and half once to you.
If you deny to dance, let's hold more chat.
In private then.
I am best pleased with that.
Soft-handed mistress, one sweet word with thee.
Honey and milk and sugar. There's 3.
Nay, then 2 trays, and if you grow so nice, mythical and worth malmacy well-run dice, there's half a dozen sweets.
7 sweet adieu. Since you can cog, I'll play no more with you.
1 word in secret.
Let it not be sweet.
Thou grievest my code.
Gull, bitter.
Therefore meat.
What, was your vizard made without a tongue?
I know the reason, lady, why you ask.
Oh, for your reason. Quickly, sir, I long.
There lies a double tongue within your mask and would afford my speechless vizard half.
Veal, quoth the Dutchman. Is not veal a calf?
A calf, fair lady.
No, a fair lord calf.
Let's parse the word.
No, I'll not be your half. Take all and wean it, it may prove an ox.
Look how you butt yourself in these sharp mocks. Will you give horns, chaste lady? Do not so.
Then die, egg calf, before your horns do grow.
1 word in private with you ere I die.
Bleat softly then. The butcher hears you cry.
The tongues of mocking wenches are as keen as is the razor's edge invisible, cutting a smaller hair than may be seen. Above sense of sense, so sensible seemeth their conference. Their conceits have wings, fleeter than arrows, bullets, wind, thought, swifter things.
Not 1 word more, my maids. Break off, break off.
By heaven, I'll try beaten with pure scoff.
Well, bad witches, you have simple wits.
20 adieus, my frozen Muscovits. Als is the breed of wit so wonder that.
Tapers they are, with your sweet breaths puffed out.
Well-liking wits they have. Gross, gross, fat, fat.
Oh, poverty and wit, kingly poor flout. Will they not think you hang themselves tonight, or ever but in vizards show their faces? These gentle lords were out of countenance quite.
They were all in lamentable cases. The king was weeping right for a good word.
Berowne did swear herself out of all suit.
Lord Longaville said they came all as their heart.
Go, sickness as thou art.
Well, better wits have worn plain statute caps. But will you hear? The king is my love sworn.
And quick, Berowne hath plighted faith to me.
And Longaville was for my service born.
Madam and pretty mistresses, give ear. Immediately they will again be here, in their own shapes, for it can never be. They will digest this harsh indignity.
Will they return?
They will, God knows. Leap for joy, though they are lame with blows. Therefore, change favors, and when they repair, blow like sweet roses in the summer air.
A fond perplexity. What shall we do if they return in their own shapes to woo?
Good madam, if by me you'll be advised, let's mock them still, as well known as disguised. Let us complain to them what fools were here, disguised like Muscovites in shapeless gear, and wonder what they were, and to what end their shallow shows and prologue wildly penned, and their rough carriage so ridiculous should be presented at our tent to us.
Ladies, withdraw. The gallants are at hand.
Whip to our tents as Rose run o'er land.
Fair sir, God save you. Where's the princess?
Gone to her tent. Please it, your majesty. Commands me any service to her thither?
That she vouchsafe me audience for one word.
I will. And so will she. I know, my lord.
This gallant pins the wenches on his sleeve. Had he been Adam, he had tempted Eve. A can carved too in a lisp. Why, this is he that kisses his hand away in courtesy. The ladies call him sweet. The stairs as he treads on them kiss his feet. This is the flower that smiles at everyone to show his teeth as white as whale's bone. And consciences that wish not to die in debt pay him the due of honey-tongued Boyet.
A sweet blister on his sweet tongue that put Armado's page out of his part.
See where it comes. Behavior. What wert thou before this madman showed thee? And what art thou now?
All hail, sweet madam, in fair time of day.
Wherein all hail is foul as I conceive.
Concert my speech is better if you may.
Then wish me better. I will give you leave.
We came to visit you in purpose now, to lead you to our court. Vouchsafe it then.
This field shall hold me, and so hold your vow. Nor God nor I delight in perjured men.
Rebuke me not for that which you provoke. The virtue of your eye must break my oath.
You nickname virtue. Vice you should have spoke. For virtue's office never breaks men's troth. A world of torments though I should endure, I would not yield to be your house's guest. So much I hate a breaking cause to be of heavenly oaths vowed with integrity.
Oh, you have lived in desolation here, unseen, unvisited, much to our shame.
Not so, my lord, it is not so, I swear. We have had pastimes and pleasant game. A mess of Russians left us but of late.
How, madam? Russians?
Aye, in truth, my lord. Trim gallants full of courtship and of state.
Madam, speak true. It is not so, my lord. 3 men in Russian habit stayed an hour. These 3 men who straightway sought our favor and talked apace. And in that hour, my lord, they did not bless us with one happy word. I dare not call them fools, but this I think. When thirsty, fools would fain have drink.
This jest is dry. Gentle sweet, your wits make wise things seem foolish. When we greet with eyes best seeing, by heaven's eye, by light we lose light. Your capacity is of that nature, that to your huge store, wise things seem foolish and rich things but poor.
This proves you wise and rich, for in my eye,
poverty.
But that you take what doth to you belong, it were a fault to snatch words from my tongue.
Oh, I am yours and all that I possess.
All the fool mine.
I cannot give you less.
Which of the vizards was it that you wore?
Where? When? What vizard? Why demand you this?
There then, that vizard, that superfluous case, that hid the worse, that showed the better face.
We were descried. They'll mock us now downright.
Let us confess and turn it into a jest.
Amazed, my lord. Why looks your highness sad?
Oh, hold her brows, she'll sound. Why look you pale? Seasick, methinks, coming from Muscovy.
Thus poor town stars plagues for perjury. Can any face of brass hold longer out? Here stand I, lady, dart thy skill at me, bruise me with scorn, confound me with a flout, thrust thy sharp wit quite through my ignorance, cut me to pieces with thy keen conceit, and I will wish thee never more to dance, nor never more in Russian habit wait. So to begin, wench, so God help me, law, my love to thee is sound, sans crack or flaw.
Sans, I pray you.
Yet I have a trick of the old rage. Bear with me, I am sick. I'll leave it by degree. Soft, let us see. Right, Lord, have mercy on us, on you three. They are infected in their hearted lies. They caught the plague, they caught it of your eyes. These lords are visited, you are not free. For the Lord's tokens on you do I see.
No, they are free that gave these tokens to us.
Seek not to undo us.
It is not so, for how can it be true that you stand forfeit, being those that sue?
Peace I will not have to do with you.
Nor shall not, if I do as I intend.
Teach us, sweet madam, for our rude transgression, some fair excuse.
The fairest is confession. Were not you here but even now, disguised?
Madam, I was.
And were you well advised?
I was, fair madam.
When you then were here, what did you whisper in your lady's ear?
That more than all the world I did respect her.
When she shall challenge this, you will reject her.
Upon mine honor, no.
Peace, peace, forbear. Your oath once broke, you force not to forswear.
Despise me when I break this oath of mine.
I will, and therefore keep it. Rosaline, what is the Russian whisper in your ear?
Madam, that did he hold me dear as precious eyesight, and did value me above the world, adding more to, thereover, that he would wed me, else die my lover.
God give thee joy of him. The noble lord most honorably does uphold his word.
What mean you, madam? By my life, my troth, I never swore this lady such an oath.
By heaven you did.
My faith in this the princess I did give. I knew her by this jewel on her sleeve.
Pardon me, sir. This jewel she did wear, and Longaville, I thank them, is my dear. Berowne, what of you? Take your glove again.
Neither of either. I remit both twain. I can see the trick, and here was a consent, knowing aforehand of our merriment, to dash it like a Christmas comedy. Some carry tale, some please man, some slight zany that smiles his cheek in years, and knows the trick to make my lady laugh when she's disposed. Told of our intents before, which once disclosed, the ladies did exchange favors, and we, following the signs, wooed but the sign of she. Now to our perjury to add terror, we are again forsworn in will and error. Much upon this 'tis. And might not you forestall our sport to make us thus untrue? Do not you know my lady's foot by the squire, and laugh upon the apple of her eye, and stand between her back, sir, in the fire, holding a trencher, jesting merrily? You put our page out. Go, you are allowed. Die when you will, a smock shall be your shroud. You leer upon me, do you? There's an eye wound like a leaden sword.
Full merrily hath this brave manage, this career been run.
Lo, he is tilting straight. Peace I have done.
God take you, Daniel.
Welcome, pure wit, thou parts of fair fray.
Oh Lord, they would know whether the three worthy shall come in or no.
What are there but three?
Not so, miss, but it is verifying. For every one presents 3.
And 3 times thrice is 9.
Not so, miss. Under correction, miss. I hope it is not so. You cannot beg us, miss. I can assure you, miss. We know what we know. I hope, miss. 3 times thrice, miss.
Is not 9.
Under correction, miss. We know where until it doth amount.
By Jove, I always took 3 threes for 9.
Oh, Lord, miss. It were pity you should get your living by reckoning, miss.
How much is it?
Oh, Lord, miss. The parties themselves, the actors, the... miss, we show where until it doth amount. For mine own part, I am, as I say, to perfect one man and one poor man. Pompey and the Great.
Art thou one of the worthies?
It pleased them to think me worthy of Pompey the Great. But for mine own part, I know not the degree of the worthy, but I am to stand for him.
Go bid them prepare.
We will turn it finally off, miss. We will take some care.
Berowne, they will shame us. Let them not approach.
We are shame-proof, my lord, and 'tis some policy to have one show worse than the king's in his company.
I say they shall not come.
Nay, my good lord, let me overrule you now. That sport best pleases that doth least know how, where zeal strives to content, and the content dies in the zeal that it presents. The form confounded makes most form in mirth, when great things labouring perish in their birth.
A right description of our sport, my lord.
Anointed, I implore so much expense of thy royal sweet breath as will utter a brace of words.
Does this man serve God?
Why ask you?
Speaks not like a man of God, his making.
That is all one, my fair, sweet honey mark, for I protest, the English swain is exceeding fantastical, too vain, too vain. But we will put it to Fortuna de la Guerra. I wish you the peace of mind, most royal compliment.
It is like to be a good presence of worthies. He presents Hector of Troy, the swains, Pompey the Great, the puppets, Alexander, Judas Maccabeus, and Hercules.
I, Pompey, am.
You lie, you are not he.
I, Pompey, am.
With Libert's head on knee.
Well said, old mocker. I must be friends with thee.
I, Pompey, am. Pompey, that's the name, the big.
The great.
It is great, sir. Pompey, that's the name, the great, that often field with targ and shield to make my foe to sweat. And travelling along this coast, I hear him come by chance, to lay my arms before the legs of the sweet lass of France. If your ladyship would say, thanks, Pompey, I had done.
Great thanks, great Pompey.
My hat to a halfpenny Pompey proves the best worthy.
When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander. From east, west, north, and south, I spread my conquering might. My Scythian plain declares that I am Alexander.
Your nose says no, you are not, for it stands too right.
Your nose smells no in this most tender-smelling night.
The conqueror is dismayed. Proceed, good Alexander.
When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander.
Most true, 'tis right you were so, Alexander.
Pompey the Great.
Your servant and custard.
Take away the conqueror. Take away Alexander.
Oh, sir, you have overthrown Alexander the Conqueror. You'll be scrapped out of the painted cloth for this. Your lion that holds a poleaxe sitting upon a closed stool will be given to Ajax. He will be the ninth worthy. A conqueror, and to a fear to speak. Run away for shame, Alexander. Their aunt shall please you. A foolish mild man, an honest man. Look you and soon dash. He is a marvelous good neighbor, faith, and a very good bowler. For Alexander, alas, you see how 'tis. A little o'er-parted, but there are worthies a-coming that will speak their minds in some other sort.
Stand aside, good Pompey.
Great Hercules. Hercules! Is presented by Dissim, whose club killed Cerberus, that three-headed Canis. And when he was a babe, a child, a shrimp, thus did he strangle serpents in his manus. Quoniam he seemeth in minority, ergo, I come with this apology. Keep some state in thy exit, and vanish. Judas, I am.
Judas!
Notice carried, sir. Judas, I am, eclipped Maccabeus.
Judas Maccabeus clipped is plain Judas.
Kissing traitor, how art thou proved, Judas?
Judas, I am.
The more shame for you, Judas.
What mean you, sir?
As he is an ass. Since so let him go. Nay, why dost thou stay, sweet Jude?
For the latter end of his name.
For the S to the Jude. Give it him, Jude ass away.
This is not generous, not gentle, not humble.
A light grows for Monsieur Judas. Grows dark, it may stumble.
Alas, poor Maccabeus, how has he been baited?
Hide thy head, Achilles. Here comes Hector in arms.
Though my mocks come home by me, I may now be merry.
Hector was but a Trojan in respect of this.
But is this Hector?
I think Hector was not so clean-timbered.
His leg is too big to be Hector's.
More calf, search it.
No, he is best endued in the small.
This cannot be Hector.
He's a god or a painter, for he makes faces.
The omnipotent Mars of Lances the Almighty gave Hector a gift.
A gilt nutmeg.
A lemon.
Stuck with cloves.
Peace, peace. The omnipotent Mars of Lances the Almighty gave Hector a gift. The heir of Ilion, a man so breed that certain he would fight, yea, from morn till night, out of his pavilion. The sweet war man is dead and rotted, sweet chucks, beat not the bones of the buried. When he breathed, he was a man, but I will forward with my device. Sweet royalty, bestow on me the sense of hearing.
Speak, brave Hector, we are much delighted.
I do adore thy sweet grace's slipper. This Hector far surmounted Hannibal. The party is gone.
Fellow Hector, she is gone. She is 2 months on her way.
What meanest thou?
Faith, unless you played the honest Trojan, the poor wench is cast away. She's quick. The child brags in her belly already. 'Tis yours.
Dost thou infamonize me among potentates? Thou shalt die.
Then shall Hector be whipped by Jaconetta that is quick by him, and dead by Pompey that is hanged by him.
No, ayúdame, no tienen que pelear.
Renowned Pompey.
Greater the great Pompey. Pompey the huge.
Hector trembles.
Pompey is moved. More taste. Strike them on.
Hector will challenge him.
I have no more man's blood in his belly than will sup a flea.
By the North Pole, I do challenge thee.
I will not fight with a pole like a northern man. I'll slash, I'll do it by the sword. I pray you let me borrow my arms again.
Room for the incensed worthies!
I'll do it in my shirt.
Gentlemen and soldiers, pardon me. I will not combat in my shirt.
You may not deny it. Pompey hath made the challenge.
A sweet bloods I both may and will.
What reason have you for it?
True, and it was enjoined him in Rome for want of linen, since when albeit he sworn he wore none but a dish cloud of jaconettas, and that awares next his heart for a favor.
Madam, I'm sorry for the news I bring. It is heavy in my tongue. The king, your father, dead for my life. Even so, my tale is told.
Worthies away. The scene begins to cloud.
For mine own part, I breathe free breath, for I've seen the day of wrong through the little hole of discretion, and I will right myself like a soldier. I vow to Yakinada to hold the plough for her sweet love 3 years.
I will kiss the royal finger and take leave.
How fares your majesty?
Boyet, prepare, I will away tonight.
Madam, not so, I do beseech you stay.
Prepare, I say.
I thank thee, gracious lords, for all your fair endeavours and entreat, out of any sad souls that you vouchsafe in your rich wisdom to excuse or hide the liberal opposition of our spirits if overboldly we have borne ourselves in the converse of breath. Your gentleness was guilty of it. Farewell, worthy lord. A heavy heart bears not a humble tongue. Excuse me so, coming too short of thanks for my great suit so easily obtained.
Although the morning brow progeny forbid the smiling courtesy of love, the holy suit which faint it would convince, yet since love's argument was first on foot, let not the cloud of sorrow jostle it from what it purposed, since to wail friends' loss is not by much so wholesome profitable, as to rejoice at friends but newly found.
I understand you not. My griefs are double.
Honest, plain words best pierce the ears of grief. And by these badges understand the king. For your fair sakes we neglected time, played foul with our oaths. Your beauty, ladies, hath much deformed us, transforming our humours even to the imposed intents of our intents. And what in us hath seemed ridiculous.
As love is full of unbefitting strains, how wanton as a child, skipping in vain, formed by the eye and therefore like the eye, varying in shapes of habits and of forms, varying in subjects as the eye doth roll to every varied object in its glance, in particoded presence of loose love put on by us, if in your heavenly eyes have misbecomed our oaths and gravities, those heavenly eyes that looked into these faults suggested to us make.
Therefore, ladies, our love being yours, the air that loves makes is likewise yours. We to ourselves prove false by being once false forever to be true, to those that make us both, fair ladies, you. And even that falsehood, in itself a sin, thus purifies itself and turns to grace.
We have received your letters full of love, your favours, ambassadors of love, and in our maiden council rated them at courtship, pleasant jest, and courtesy as bombast and as lining to the time. But more devout than this in our respect have we not been, and therefore met your loves in their own fashion, like a merriment.
Our letters, madam, showed much more than jest, so did our looks.
We did not coat them so.
Now, at the latest minute of the hour, grant us your loves.
A time methinks too short to make a world without end bargaining. No, your grace is perjured much, full of dear guiltiness, and therefore this. If, for my love, as there is no such cause, you will do aught, this shall you do for me. Your oath I will not trust, but go with speed to some forlorn and naked hermitage remote from all the pleasures of the world.
There stay until the 12 celestial signs bring about the annual reckoning. If this austere, insociable life change not your offer made in the heat of blood.
If frosts and fasts, hard lodging, and thin weeds nip not the gaudy blossoms of your love, but that it bear this trial and last love.
Then, at the expiration of the year, come challenge me. Challenge me by these deserts and by this virgin palm now kissing thine. I will be thine. And until that instant, shut my woeful self up in the mourning house, raining the tears of lamentation for the remembrance of my father's death. If this thou do deny, let our hands part, neither entitled in the other's heart.
If this or more than this I would deny, to flatter up these powers of mine with rest, the sudden hand of death close up mine eye. And hermit then, my heart is in thy breast.
And what to me, my love? And what to me?
You must be perjured too. Your sins are racked. You are attaint with faults and perjury. Therefore, if you my favor mean to get, a 12 months shall you spend, and never rest, but seek the weary beds of people sick.
What to me, my love, but what to me? A wife?
A beard, fair health, and honesty. With threefold love, I wish you all these three.
How shall I say I thank you, gentle wife?
Not so, my lord, a 12-month and a day. I'll mark no words that smooth-faced wooers say. Come when the king doth to my lady come, then if I have much love, I'll give you some.
I'll serve you true and faithfully till then.
Yet swear not, lest ye be forsworn again.
Studies, my lady. Look upon me. Behold the window of mine heart, mine eye. What humble suit attends thy answer there? Impose some service on me for thy love.
Oft I've heard of you, my lord Berowne, before we met, and the world's large tongue proclaimed you for a man replete with mocks, full of comparisons and wounding flaunts, which you on all estates would execute that lie within the mercy of your wit. To weed this wormwood from your fruitful brain, and therewithal to win me, without the which I am not to be won. You shall this 12-month term from day to day visit the speechless sick and still converse with groaning wretches. And your task shall be, with all the fierce endeavor of your wit, to enforce the pained impotent to smile.
To move wild laughter in the throat of death? It cannot be, it is impossible. Mirth cannot move a soul in agony.
Why, that's the way to choke a giving spirit whose influence is begot on that loose grace which shallow laughing hearers give to fools. A just prosperity lies within the ear of her that hears it, not within the tongue of her that makes it. Then sickly ears, deft with the clamors of their own dear groans, will hear your idle scorns. Continue then, and I'll have you and that fault withal. But if they will not, throw away that spirit, and I'll find you empty of that fault, right joyful of your reformation.
A 12-month. Well, befall what will befall. I jest a 12-month in a hospital.
Aye, sweet my lord, and so I take my leave.
No, madam, we will bring you on your way.
Our wooing doth not end like an old play. Jack hath not Jill. These ladies' courtesies might well have made our sport a comedy.
Come, miss, it wants a 12th month and a day, then 'twill end.
That's too long for a play.